This is Clarke, Wise deRenaissance, coming to you with more information. I tried to go live a minute ago, but they have the hackers on my phone. Don't you know, in an attempt to get my plane ticket to fly out of the country by Monday, don't you know they were able to hack my phone, stop my credit card from paying for my flight on a certain website through manipulative forces, either connecting to the actual website itself or some other hacking mechanism that I'm not familiar with because I'm not a hacker. See the bags under my eyes? That comes from torture last night of them simulating through my head the quote-unquote 12-year-old named Avril Lavigne. And she has many entities that utilize her brain and play this simulation game of multiple people that travel throughout the various states and countries, attacking people like myself and simulating her murders through my head and probably many others. Last night, she simulated that she killed my sister as well as my sister's oldest son and my sister's oldest daughter. This is what was simulated through my head about the 12-year-old they call Avril Lavigne that was 12-year-old when she got pregnant by 19 Keys family. So right now I'm attempting to go to sleep and they're trying to make me regurgitate. They did that earlier. Not only did they come into the bathroom again with video cameras while I was brushing my teeth and cleaning my body, but they recorded me brushing my teeth. They told different people at different areas of the airport that I was in the bathroom with a baby. This is what prompted the police officers to come in the bathroom and start videotaping me, knowing that when they entered the bathroom, there was no baby in the bathroom. Let me reiterate that I have no interest in pedophilia nor playing any FBI games that catch the pedophile. Let me reiterate that I never have touched a child, nor do I have any desire for children whatsoever. Let me reiterate that my family does not have a history of pedophilia, and this assumption that they're telling the various police stations is an effort to cover up crime of human trafficking and child pornography. Let me also share that tonight as I was trying to sleep and as I'm standing or sitting here right now, they're constantly pushing the agenda of me regurgitating. I was about to go to sleep, folks, and they kept pushing that through me. Let me also tell you that throughout the night, as I was laying here for a good 30 minutes, that they were having various voices of various people laughing. They had one voice of a man saying to presumably a child's voice, to grab his penis or something of that nature. This is the torture that I was speaking of, the psychological manipulation, the neuro surveillance, the neural weaponry that they utilize to make you go crazy. Let me also emphasize that I have not been able to reach my family in over a year in an attempt to reach them in the last year. Let me also emphasize that tonight several police officers attacked me in the bathroom again when I was simply trying to brush my teeth and make sure my body was fresh and clean. Let me further explain that a police officer told me to shut up tonight and charged at me, so I had to defend myself. Let me also share that they have videotape of me brushing my teeth in the bathroom, which is illegal surveillance. There's nobody that should ever be recorded in any public bathroom, whether by police or by private citizen. No one should do that. Let me further emphasize that as I tried to start the first live, that my phone was hacked and the person that often tries to act as if she has all the information that my brain is able to deduce from careful understanding of self and further analysis of the weaponry, that her brain was actually relaying the information, a white woman. Let me reiterate that they have often tried to steal the indigenous mind from the beginning of time and reissue it to a Caucasian of some stature. Let me show you that even in the last podcast, when I talked about the inception of Aryan Nation, that their tactics are still alive and well today with the modern technology. Let me share with you that I'm struggling right now to speak because as I'm speaking, they're trying to make me regurgitate. Let me further emphasize that they do that in an effort to prove to the people who are onlookers that I have some drug problem that I'm getting over, and that is a lie. What is happening, as I was able to deduce, is that when I am spoken to in a way that repetitively repeats some disgusting things to me, it makes me feel sick. And they also use the nodes to trigger certain body parts, to put pressure on certain body parts to cause regurgitation. And how you know it's not regurgitation in the sense of some sickness of overcoming a drug use is that it's always mucus and phlegm, never any type of anything else from the stomach. So that's forced regurgitation. This is the neuro weaponry. This is what they do to kill us silently. This is what I've been dealing with for 2 years. And I want you all to take me seriously because I'm really well in terms of my mental health, but in the brain damage that they're causing me, it's making me want to kill somebody. It makes me want to kill mostly Aryan Nation members. Let me reemphasize that they put 19 Keys' cousin back on me again, the one who has been noted as killing a majority of my family members or doing some harm to their brain and body in a sense that won't allow them to come back to normal or even perhaps remember who they are. Let me further stress that this is supported by the Mexican airport that I am currently at. Let me further explain that people think that this is some type of test, but tonight when I was outside, because it was too much to continue to hear the speaking of the laughter and the pornography of their involvement with one another, as they emphasize that they are involved in some type of training program. They had children in white SUVs tonight pull up where I was sitting at to get away from the noise of these people and what they try to project to your brain. So I walked far from the airport. And what did they do? Like I told you, the nodes have GPS systems in them. They sent cars one by one with men with glasses and the same looking like, I mean, I hate the stereotype, but there's a look about the pedophile that you can't mistake. And then they had children in the back. So these things are happening in real time in Mexico. And I want you all to know that it's true. I want you all to investigate the 19 Keys family clan. I want y'all to find out what their involvement is with Aryan Nation and the mayor of Utuado. I want you to know that I was told that the mayor of Utuado tried to fly into Mexico with a gun and said he was going to kill me, and they stopped him because it was an illegal, concealed weapon. I want you to know these things because every day, the way that they try to kill me is through the gastro reflux problem that they created in me that I no longer have because I had surgery. But I want you to know that it was very prevalent in my life when I was with Alita Felton. So it makes sense for them to target certain things that they have been able to pull from her brain and my brain in an attempt to make me weaker in my see how they added that? Add a question answer sticker like popping bubble wrap. You know, that's stupid, but that's probably one of the young people that they're utilizing in this slush fund, racketeering, child pornography, human trafficking, Epstein-like behavior that's happening at your transportation public facilities throughout the globe. This is Erica Clarke, Wise deRenaissance, and as I tried to start this live, they pulled it and tried to give the title as well as a picture of me in a small form at the bottom of the screen, as if we were going live together with some of these motherfucking hackers. Let me emphasize, as I was going live, a young man and a young woman came walking from the back around that way. They were probably the ones that were projecting various voices and trying to fool the police into believing it was me. Let me also emphasize that there was a man who was cleaning in this area, which shouldn't be clean because it's a spotless area. Hardly anybody travels to this area of the airport. And he said as soon as I moved that they told him to tell Jesus, which is a deity, an entity, not a deity, excuse me, an entity that has several lookalikes that reiterate his verbiage, reiterate his mannerisms, reiterate his behaviors, and they have them throughout the globe. The people who have been dominant in the chip manipulation have people up under them that they use as robots across the planet. So they emphasize that Jesus wanted to know when I moved up under my blanket as I was laying down. This is the Neuro surveillance. And what did he do but respond and say that she moved? I want you all to know that this is real and happening in real time on, let's see what date it is, Sunday, November the 2nd at 2:41 a.m. in the morning in Mexico City Airport. Let me reemphasize that tonight, as I went back to my, normal, comfortable place where I usually lay my head at the airport because I was kicked out illegally from the place that I prepaid for my hotel stay. So I'm not going to keep paying pesos to Mexico as they use me. That they had several people waiting down there, and they had told those people without me hearing that I was there to speak to them. This is another way of slavery in the slavery game, by using my mind, my likeness, my reputation as an outstanding, wonderful person, as if I'm there to help them in some type of game, and I'm not. I'm just a regular citizen that they're trying to trap into this slavery game for life, like I see a lot of these Mexicans doing in the form of robotic action for the police department. Let me re-emphasize that the president of Mexico has not yet returned any type of response to me, and I've emailed the embassy countless times. Let me further explain that there's nothing wrong with me in terms of my mental stability. It's only the torture, the treason, the repetitive trauma of the Neuro weaponry, and the repeating laughing and voices saying dumb things. Like back in the day when I checked Alita Felton, she lied about me and she got me put into a psychiatric hospital. She was my ex. She's my ex, but she was my, woman at the time. Bad decision. She was able to manipulate the people into believing things about me. And one of the ways that I dealt with the trauma of that is I wrote out a song that I remembered from my grandmother, devotional. My grandmother would have daily devotion with God 3 times a day. And one of the songs that I love so much that she would sing was All the Way. Don't you know they have the nerve to repeat that over and over in my head as they torture me? This is a Neuro weaponry. This is a sick psychotic behavior of sociopaths and psychopaths. They did that tonight again. These people are sick. They need to be stopped. This is bad as COVID. It's not limited to a few of us. There's several of us, but many people are scared to come forward because they're embarrassed of the psychological ramifications of what people will judge them to be. I'm not, because I'm quite confident that I'm not schizophrenic. I'm quite confident that I'm not DID. I'm quite confident that I'm experiencing occasional psychosis from the weaponry that's used on my brain repetitively for 2 years. Tonight I acted out again because they put Tony, and they said a child and a few people who have a low emotional intelligence on my chip as they attacked me in the bathroom. And several people recording me with men standing outside the bathroom as I'm trying to clean myself and brush my teeth. In a secluded bathroom now, not a bathroom that's high traffic. No reason to be alarmed. And so they purposefully put his chip on my brain to trigger me in that moment to react as he would, to make it seem like I'm the one who's causing this problem and he's my alter. 19 Keys cousin Tony. Right now they're causing the regurgitation feeling again. It's not natural for me anymore. I've been cured of that. But Alita Felton wouldn't know because I haven't seen her since 2016. I think I've said enough for today. I was even gracious and kind enough to explain to them how the pedophiles were going to use the Day of the Dead with the children trick-or-treating tonight to get surveillance for the dark web. And don't you know, even after I shared that important intel on how they could protect their children in Mexico, they still attacked me through the police force at the airport. And they said the white girl gave them the intel because she's just been pulling my brain nonstop and acting like it's her. Just like Aryan Nation said they were going to do. Make the indigenous obsolete and give our knowledge to their children, and they're doing it in real time, and you all are so stupid. The Mexican police are so stupid. They told me tonight that they had a whole bunch of white men sitting in the goddamn airport surveillance camera room watching me. So I'll be out of here soon. They're not gonna kill me. I hope I don't kill anyone. But I've been tortured. They're causing the regurgitation feeling again. It's not my natural inclination right now. It's theirs. Normally, I wouldn't have bags like these under my eyes. It's them causing it. You see that? They just said another question and answer, terrifying kids movie question. You see? That's the pedophile's response to something like this. You have to realize that. When I was outside trying to get away from the sound of the simulation of them laughing and talking and saying just things you wouldn't even imagine, torturous things about my family, my loved ones, people in general. The white guy that has entities that act like him, think like him, move like him, said that he was out there with a child in the car. And I walked up to the car, so he had a child in the back of the car. I saw 3 cars out there with children in the back. He told me that he was trying to entrap me, and he didn't know that I didn't participate in pedophilia with him. He said both those things. I don't even like to talk about pedophilia this much, but this is what they keep bringing up because that's their lifestyle. And I am not involved. There's nothing about me. There's no history of me. There's nothing that ever has been said about me that leads anyone to think that I would be involved in any type of pedophilia or even trying to solve a case about pedophiles. Even when I was an investigative social worker, that was not my forte. I wasn't in the sexual assault unit. That was a unit for that. I want y'all to know this is real as fuck. I'm Erica Clarke Wise, deRenaissance. I want you to question these people. Phil Moreland, birthday, November 14th, 1975. Paul Moreland, his twin brother, November 14th, 1975. I want you to ask them why they had the picture that was sacred to me and Lachia Rodriguez showing on their YouTube at the same time that my computer was hacked and I posted it on Instagram. I want you to ask 19 Keys why he named his tour The Renaissance when I've been calling myself Erica Clarke Wise deRenaissance since Puerto Rico. I want you to ask 19 Keys, is it true that Tony, his cousin, indicated that everything that he was able to pull from my brainstem and pull down from my brainstem through the nodes and the neural weaponry he gave in the written form to 19 Keys? I want you to ask him that under a lie detector test. I want you to ask Elizabeth Carson and Billy Carson, Alita Felton, and 19 Keys if they simulated to the greenhouse I was renting in Utuado and tried to act as if they were caught for what they did to me in terms of the nodes and the neural weaponry and were trying to cry and act like, oh, Miss Clarke, we need for you to forgive us and come join us and da-da-da-da-da. And if they tried to tell me that they had a plane ticket for me at the airport in San Juan, and I went to the airport because I was being attacked with 500 decibels a night by the white fake doctor on my brain, killing me. I got up the next morning before I went to the hospital. I think I went to the hospital first. Yeah, I went to the hospital first in San Juan. And I got out in Utuado at my, see how they talk? They come around me and talk loud when I'm doing a live every time they're prompted. They're prompted. So when I got out of the house that morning, all night they tortured me about pedophilia. They told me all types of things I didn't know. Like at pedophile houses, they dig ditches close to the house and hide children in them. This is what they told me that night before I rushed myself to the hospital. They said they put wet mops outside the house to let the pedophile seekers know that this house got children. This is Utuado Mountain in the death trap. And when I got up that morning, I didn't even sleep that night. They told me that the whole house had been dosed with kerosene. And as I'm saying this, there's people laughing over here through a simulation type shit. They already told me tonight that Jerry, the Aryan Nation Grand Master, said that he has the entire Mexico City airport simulated. And don't you know, when I got up that morning, because Elizabeth Carson and Billy Carson were saying that I could come live with them and write my books, that it wasn't safe. I didn't even understand every intricate detail of the nodes, the simulation. All I knew, I was being attacked through some type of weaponry that I had discovered through studying about the Havana syndrome and doing my research into what was happening to me. And the police of Utuado telling me that I was placed in a death trap. And them saying Jesus was there and he only could make it 30 days before me. Don't you know, when I walked out to my truck that morning, my brain had been fried so much the night before through the Neuro weaponry that I could not remember how to start the motherfucking car and its push button. Don't you know, I had checked myself into the hospital when I got hacked in April on the first day of Lesbian Visibility Week, and I checked myself into the hospital because I lost my 3 books that I had been writing since 2017, and I was devastated. Don't you know that during that time that I was at the hospital, that my blood pressure was even keel? It was no more than 112 to 121 over 75 the whole time I was there for about 30 days. And it was self-admittance. Don't you know, when I got to the hospital the day after they burned my brain with 500 decibels of neuro weaponry, that my blood pressure was 153 over something else? Never have been that high. Don't you know, as I'm saying this right now, somebody's saying in my left hearing area, give her an Oscar? Nothing about this is acting. This is true life account of what has happened to me over the past 2 years of torture, because I believe that my family members and loved ones have been somehow harmed, if not killed. And I cannot contact most of my friends or my family members. And then when I do contact them, the 2 aunts that I was able to contact, it always seems like it's something strange, like it's not them, it's probably AI. Don't you know, somebody just said something to me as they walked out the room about them knowing that they were told that they used AI on me? They walked out the surveillance room. And then she told me not to speak anymore because it was probably somebody prompting the second part of her sentence, or projecting from her being their voice, her voice through their thoughts. So I'm still feeling the feelings of regurgitation for no reason, because I made sure that I handled myself appropriately in terms of what I ate tonight, how late I ate, waiting and sitting up before I laid down, all the proper things you do when you've had history of acid reflux. But like I said, mine was cured. until the neuro weaponry came about. And they're doing it again right now in this moment, very fiercely. Very fiercely. They're trying to make me regurgitate. If y'all don't do something about this, I swear to God, I'm going to have to make my mark in history by having to kill a white man. And I'm sending this to all the government officials because you all are lackadaisical. I called Patel, the director of the FBI, out today after they attacked me once again in the bathroom, where it's supposed to be private and sacred. No video cameras are supposed to be in the bathrooms in any location, in any public arena, no matter the country. I don't want to make this too long because I want you all to watch it in its entirety. So this is Erica Clarke Wise, deRenaissance. I'll be leaving here soon. I'm demanding that the airport take these motherfucking pedophile, motherfucking Aryan Nation, motherfucking blackies. That's what I'm calling the ignorant black folks, blackies, off of my dome, off of my brainstem. I never signed up. I'm not a criminal. This is not some test that I gave my body over to science for. That's all a fucking lie, you stupid motherfuckers. Why would a polymath like me, as smart and brilliant as I am, who could really work with Bezos, who could really work with Buffett, why would I give myself over to play games with children, you stupid motherfuckers? And I'm going to end right here because I see they're trying to influence me with another person's chip into anger that is unnecessary for me to express in that fashion. This is Erica Clarke Wise, deRenaissance. I'm still alive.